My name is Haley, and I will be talking about signs that you are in a toxic relationship and how I got out of mine. I'll start off with my story. I'm currently healing from a relationship that was very toxic. I dealt with a sexually abusive partner that held me in that relationship, and I was tied down to the point where if I tried to leave, he would threaten to kill himself or kill someone else. There were many signs that I noticed for my situation. He would always want to FaceTime. I practically lived on a FaceTime call with him. He would constantly text me. I graduated December of 2020, and he was still in school. He was graduating in May, and he would text me constantly, asking a bunch of questions, making sure that I was not cheating on him, which I would never do. He wanted me to act like someone else entirely. I wasn't being true to myself, and it hurt me personally, just because it wasn't my personality. He wanted me to act like someone completely different than what I normally acted like. Another thing is that he would constantly tell me that his exes were crazy, and he lied to me about talking to them still. And it really annoyed me when I found that out after the relationship had ended. But the first time I noticed something was wrong was when I first visited his house, because it was a long distance relationship, and I spent the night. I came back to my house covered in bruises and with a pit in my stomach, and that should have been my first warning sign, was not just the bruises, but that pit in my stomach. But the second time that happened, I was physically sick, and I just blamed it on the flu, because I felt like I couldn't talk to someone, because he made sure that I had no friends, and he constantly wanted me to talk to him about any of my problems. So in the moments that I needed friends, I didn't have any but him. And I knew I couldn't talk to him about it because he was the cause. So I kept my mouth shut. And in those moments, I was really questioning, is this what love looks like? It got to a point where I put on a mask when I was with family. I didn't want them to worry about me at all. I didn't want them to know any of those issues because, I was freshly graduated. I was going to college in the fall. I just took a semester off of school so that way I didn't get burnt out. And when my family would call me and ask me oh, how's the relationship going? I lied. And I feel terrible for lying to them. But I felt like it was something that I had to do. I was alone a lot of the time. I cried. I was alone and I would cry. I would just constantly cry. And after the relationship ended, I felt so much relief that instead of being happy, I cried. I'm a very emotional person. And it got to a point where my relationship with food got really broken after that point. Finally, I got over that, and after a year of being out of the relationship, I finally told my mom what happened, and I finally felt like this burden that was on my shoulders finally fell off, and I wasn't alone. My mom talked it out with me. She let me cry for as long as I needed. She just pretty much just made sure that I was okay. And in that moment, I knew I was going to be okay. I might not have been okay, but I knew I was going to be. Because of what she did, I can freely talk about it, and I can tell my story without getting overly emotional. And the whole reason I want to tell my story is because I want people to know that if they experience that type of situation in a relationship, that it's not love, and most importantly, you were not alone. While I was getting over what happened to me, music just happened to be my escape. I started listening to it more, playing my drums, singing more. But two songs that helped me through it, and are currently still helping me through it, are Night Shift by Lucy Dacus and TV by Billie Eilish. And there are two specific lyrics that really helped me through it. The one with Night Shift is resisting urges to punch you in the teeth, call you a bitch and leave, only because it explains my anger that I felt towards him when I realized what was happening. With TV, The lyric that hit close to home was, I put on Survivor just to watch somebody suffer. Maybe I should get some sleep. Sinking in the sofa while they all betray each other. What's the point of anything? Mainly that lyric because I felt betrayed of what happened. I was cheated on and sexually assaulted and felt so alone in the world. And I really felt like, what really is the point of anything at this point? But some signs that you are in a toxic relationship. Number one is your partner has no friends other than you. Number two is being with them and hanging out with them makes you tired or feel sick. Number three, they criticize you and or calls you names. Number four is they're constantly texting you to check in. 5 is they interrupt you or give you the silent treatment. 6 is you're always apologizing without a reason. 7, they want you to change, such as diet, dye your hair, get a new job, etc. 8, all of their exes are crazy. 9, they're obsessed with you. 10, there's a lot of lying, even just about little things. And 11, all of your friends hate your partner. Always willing to talk to everybody else about, certain things.